Over the last 6 years, I've tested electric scooters full time. At this point, I've gone through over 80 models across more than 12,000 miles. In this time, I've seen countless models come and go, but in this video, I'll focus on the best scooters I've personally tested that's available today, all under $1,500. Now, rather than just reading aloud from a spec sheet, I put each scooter through the same test process so I can base my opinion on cold, hard performance data. I benchmarked the top speed, acceleration, hill climbing, braking, and do not 1 but 3 range tests at different speeds. And maybe most importantly, I commute with every scooter through rain and daily use to see how they hold up over time. I've organized this video into 4 categories. For each scooter, I'll share my performance data, not just inflated marketing numbers. I'll tell you exactly what makes a scooter special, who should buy it, and more importantly, who should skip it. Before we dive in, I've added affiliate links and exclusive discount codes in the description below. If this guide is helpful to you, buying through those links supports my work at no extra cost to you, plus you also get the best price possible. Let's dive in. The budget category is tricky to navigate. I've tested over 30 entry-level scooters, and there are just a lot of them that don't deliver long-term. I want to highlight 3 models that are actually reliable and worth your money. First off is the Navi GT3 Pro, which is the most complete scooter I've tested at this price. It's got dual suspension that feels like it belongs on a more expensive scooter, 10-inch tubeless tires, and a 48-volt system that stays consistent even when the battery gets low. In my tests, I hit a top speed of 20.6 miles per hour with 23.3 miles of range. It also climbed a really steep 17% hill and accelerated to 15 miles per hour in just 5.35 seconds. What really sets it apart is the ride quality. The suspension is genuinely plush and soaks up rough roads without feeling bouncy. You also get turn signals, a strong water resistance, and drum brakes that are very little maintenance. At 48.5 pounds, it's not the lightest option out there, but that weight buys you real comfort and strong performance. There's also the base GT3 if you want to save some money, and the GT3 Max if you need extra range. It's the same great build for all 3 versions. Now, if you need something more compact, the new KQi 100F is your best bet. The foldable handlebars make it extremely compact and practical. Unlike most scooters with foldable handlebars, these actually stay solid with no wobble. It's the perfect scooter if you need to integrate with public transport or store it under the desk at work. I hit 17.4 miles per hour and got 11.4 miles of range, which is less than the GT3 Pro, but is still really comfortable and notably lighter at 38.8 pounds. New packed-in front suspension and 9.5-inch pneumatic tires, plus turn signals. The build quality feels extremely reliable and is also based on a proven design. The main limitation is hills. It's fine for moderate hills, but it can't do super steep ones. So if your commute is relatively flat and portability matters, the 100F is a great choice. Finally, if you want maximum range in a light package, check out the VMAX VX5 Pro GT. This scooter delivered 20 miles of range in my tests. It's also the lightest of these 3, and it actually made it up my 17% test hill. The IPX6 rating handled heavy rain use without issues, and you also get turn signals and tubeless tires. The main downside is that there's no suspension. Now, the 10-inch tires help a lot, but it's not going to be as comfortable as the GT3. Also, this scooter has a 36-volt system, which means it loses some of its power below 50% battery. But for smooth roads where you need a nimble scooter, it's really hard to beat. So which of these 3 should you choose? I'd say the GT3 Pro is the right choice for most people. It's just the best overall value. The 100F wins if you need something compact that's still comfortable, and the VX Pro 5 GT is the right choice if you want long range in a small package. For mid-range scooters below $8,000, I have 3 picks. Once again, Navi is my main recommendation, specifically the ST3 Pro. Again, it's just the best overall value at this price point. You get a large battery with 24.9 miles of real-world range and a tested top speed of 24.8 miles per hour. It handles steep hills with ease and has extremely consistent performance until the battery runs out. The dual suspension is really nice. Both the front and rear are tuned nicely together so one doesn't overpower the other. And also the 10-inch tubeless tires are pre-sealed, which means less maintenance. This is one of the rare few scooters to have traction control, and it just feels really grippy and stable in the rain. It's overall just a really versatile machine throughout. The motor performance is great, and the range is good, and the ride quality is the best in class. The only downside is its weight. At 55 pounds, this is the heaviest of my 3 recommendations, so if that matters to you, consider if you want to sacrifice some functionality for something that's easier to carry. If you want maximum range, the VMAX VX2 Pro GT is where it's at. The scooter delivered 39.6 miles of real-world range in my tests, which is just incredible under $1,000. And the motor is really strong as well. I hit 23.9 miles per hour and climbed a 17% test hill with no issues. Also, the 287-pound weight capacity beats the other two. The build feels really robust and it's got an IPX6 water resistance rating, so it's definitely all-weather approved. The dual drum brakes also mean less maintenance than the other two, and it comes with 2 years of warranty. Now the trade-off is no suspension. The 10-inch tubeless tires are fine on average roads, especially if you ride them at lower pressure, but it's just not as comfortable as the competition. The deck is also narrower than I would like for longer rides. But at 45.6 pounds, it's actually the lightest of these three scooters, which makes it more practical to carry around if needed. Lastly, we've got the new KQi 300X, which sits somewhere in the middle between the two others. The scooter delivers a bit of everything without going to extremes. I hit a top speed of 23.6 miles per hour and got 26.8 miles of range. The front suspension makes it notably more comfortable than the VMAX, and the extra large 10.5-inch tubeless tires soak up road vibrations nicely. At 48.7 pounds, it's more manageable than the ST3 Pro, but still not a lightweight. I'd say that this scooter has the most refined build of all three. The folding mechanism is the best I've tested. It also has the shortest stopping distance thanks to the dual disc brakes. It handles all-weather use extremely well. Also, the new app is better than the competition. There are more features and customization options. The regen braking is also the smoothest of all three. Now the range can't match the VX2 Pro, and with only front suspension, it's not quite as plush as the ST3 Pro from Navi. But that is exactly the point. This scooter does a little bit of everything without sacrificing in any particular area. So which one should you choose? Honestly, I'd say it often comes down to the current pricing, since these three rotate on sales often. In most cases, I would go for the ST3 Pro for the best value in comfort and performance. If you need serious range or have a longer commute, the VX2 Pro GT might be worth the extra money. And if you want something in the middle of those two, the new KQi 300X is a solid choice. I've already covered a few lightweight options, but there are two unique models that I want to highlight. First off is the new KQi Air. This scooter has pretty much redefined the ultralight market. It weighs just 26.4 pounds, but you're still getting spacious dimensions and good ride quality. Before the Air, practically every scooter under 30 pounds forced you onto small, solid tires, cramped, narrow decks, and twitchy handlebars. New solved this issue by making the Air with a carbon fiber frame. It's more expensive material than the typical aluminum you'll see on other scooters, but it drops the weight significantly and is also stronger than aluminum. In my tests, the Air hit a 20.1 miles per hour top speed and it got me 24.2 miles of range. That's a range to weight ratio of 0.91 miles per pound, which is the best I've ever measured in any scooter regardless of price. The ride quality is surprisingly good. It feels stable and planted mainly thanks to the low center of gravity, and the 9.5-inch tubeless tires deal with the worst road vibrations. The Air is probably the scooter I've done the most miles on in 2025, and everything feels as good as day one. It's sturdy and punchy, and overall just ticks all the boxes I'm looking for in a lightweight commuter. Next is the Apollo Go. This scooter is really good value for money. It's the lightest full suspension dual motor scooter I've ever tested. At 46 pounds, it packs dual 350 watt motors that delivers the highest top speed in this guide so far at 26.7 miles per hour. It also hit 15 miles per hour in just 3.89 seconds and smashed my previous hill record for any scooter under 50 pounds. The instant torque from these dual motors is honestly really addictive. It's probably one of the most fun to ride scooters I've tested. Despite the smaller 9-inch tires, the dual suspension is well tuned with plenty of travel, both front and rear. Also, the drum brake plus self-healing tires combo just means that this scooter is really low maintenance. It also has an IP66 weather resistance rating, and I've been caught in the rain several times with no issues. Now, the 36-volt system does lose some punch as the battery depletes, and with 19.8 miles of tested range, some people will want more distance. But if you want a proper dual motor hill climber without buying a 70-pound scooter, I highly recommend the Apollo Go. Moving on to the flagship performance commuters. Now, I imagine a lot of you would expect me to include the Segway Max G3 here, but in my opinion it's just not competitive on range. Instead, I highly recommend the VMAX VX2 Hub, which beats it on every performance metric in my tests. The VX2 Hub is an absolute powerhouse. It's available in two battery sizes And in my tests, I hit a 33.5 miles per hour top speed and got 35.6 miles of range on the larger battery version. There's also a 13 amp hours version if you want to save some money and don't need quite as much range. The motor is incredibly strong with 1900 watts of peak power. It just absolutely destroyed every hill in my tests. It also hits 15 miles per hour in just 2.87 seconds, which is some of the best I've tested in a single motor scooter. You've got super nice dual suspension as well. It's hydraulic at the front and there's rubber at the rear. This thing just handles rough roads with ease, and it's also extremely well protected against water. I often commute in the rain and the VX2 hub just always handle it with no issue. Now, one thing I really like about the VX2 hub is that it doesn't force you to use an app. All the controls and settings are right on the display with proper labels, which is way more intuitive than those cryptic P settings you would commonly see on older scooters. At 57.1 pounds for the larger battery version, it's obviously not as easy to juggle around as some of the previously mentioned models, but the VX2 hub is a long distance commuter, not a last mile commuter. Also, you're just not gonna find a scooter with this level of performance under 50 pounds. For me, the VX2 hub is the performance king of flagship commuters, and therefore also my main recommendation. Now lastly, I want to recommend the Apollo City. This scooter has the smoothest ride quality I've ever tested in a scooter under $1,500. I've gone through many models before and after, and it just feels like a dream to ride. The overall suspension feeling and handling is just next level. I'm not exactly sure how they've done it, but it just feels buttery smooth. And in all honesty, is actually more comfortable than a lot of the more expensive $2,000 plus scooters I've tested. In my tests, it hit 32.3 miles per hour and delivered 29.8 miles of range. It's got dual 500 watt motors which peak at a combined 2000 watts, so this thing packs a serious punch for conquering steep hills. The City has been iterated on for several years, and it just feels extremely refined at this point. It's clear that Apollo has focused on building something that's low maintenance. It's got dual drum brakes, some of the smoothest region braking I've tried, and 10-inch self-healing tires. It also has an IP66 weather resistance rating. This scooter was designed by Canadians with all-weather use in mind, and that truly shows in the design. The Apollo app is also one of the most feature-packed apps in the industry. You can dive into detailed riding stats, check out the battery health, and completely fine-tune everything from speed and acceleration to cruise control and braking settings. The Apollo City weighs 65 pounds, so it isn't exactly a scooter you want to be carrying around all day. But if you want a highly refined ride that's as comfortable as possible, the City delivers. So which of these flagship scooters should you choose? The City is typically a bit cheaper, but it's also less portable. The VX2 hub has longer range and doesn't force you to use an app. I would say pick the VX2 hub if you want maximum range, and pick the City if you want the best ride comfort possible. So that wraps up my picks for the best electric scooters this year. These are the models that have proven themselves through real-world testing and hold up to daily use. And just a quick reminder, I've built what I think is the ultimate scooter comparison tool over on ERideHero.com. You can filter and compare over 350 different models side by side on every single specification. You can also track price drops on your favorite scooters and get the best deals every week in your email. Everything is based on real price history data, which we track every 24 hours for each model. So this is a great way to avoid fake sales and inflated before prices. You can actually see what they cost. It's also completely free to use. There's a link in the description. If you've got questions about any of these scooters or need help figuring out which one is right for you, drop a comment below. I read all comments and I'm happy to help. And lastly, if this guide was helpful and you end up buying one of these scooters, using the affiliate links in the description supports my testing at no extra cost to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.